back, 1037. Mary Cordes is the executive director of Hayner Library. We added a new lower third. We can get more on there now.
Nice,
Look at
very
that.
nice.
We're getting there. How's everything going at the library this Monday morning?
It's going all right.
So let's get the big news out of the way here. The Friends building is completely closed for a while.
It is. It's going to be temporarily closed. We actually had a structural engineer come in and take a look, just to kind of do a once-over of the building. I don't know the last time it had been done, and we were talking about maybe doing a few little cosmetic, or not little, but doing some cosmetic improvements. And before we did that, we wanted to make sure everything was okay. And we found an issue with one of the rafter beams in the ceiling. And so just out of an abundance of caution, the building is closed while we have an engineer figure out a solution for it, and then have it built out. So just in case anybody's wondering what's going on, the Friends are going to have their book sales as soon as we can get it remedied. It was an unexpected closure. And so for right now, we're temporarily not taking donations because we don't have anywhere to put them.
Right.
And the Friends are not having their book sales because we just want to be safe and not have anybody in the building while we get that repair taken care of.
Absolutely. And I'm sure the public appreciates that and the transparency.
And that's the thing. You want to be transparent. You don't want to just say like, everything's fine. And it is fine. It's just, it's one of the things we have to take care of.
Just a chance, you know?
Yep, exactly.
And so keep up to date on website and Facebook as we're waiting for that update.
Yep, we'll have an announcement when it's ready to go and ready to be open. We're hoping, we're trying as fast as we can to get it taken care of, but some of these things take time. So so we'll get there.
Well, exactly. Slow and steady gets the job done.
Yeah, and in the meantime, the Friends do have a couple of book carts at the mall library that our books are for sale. They're $2 for books. So anytime you walk in, there's always a couple of carts right there in the front area by the circulation desk, and the Friends still are maintaining that. So they're going to be bringing materials and putting them on the carts, and they're for sale. So you can still find some stuff that's for sale: kids' books, adults' materials, teens, that kind of thing. So there is still a small sale going on at the mall anytime the mall library is open.
Well, and honestly, that's wonderful to know about too.
Yeah.
You know what I was seeing the other day, and I'm not saying this is what you do with those books. I have been seeing people that are using older books that maybe have some pages out of them, and they're making like wall murals out of them. That's kind of cool.
Yeah, we had for a long time, there was a rush on encyclopedias. So we were we were selling encyclopedias, and people were using them for because they were old. I mean, they were outdated information.
Right.
But they were using them for, wedding reception, like decorations or decorations at their house, or they were taking pages out of them and creating art with them. So it was kind of fun to see them being reused, because really the information's old and there's, newer information out there, so it was kind of a nice way to repurpose that book.
What I think that's cool is coming up with old information, new information, and just a great author is Ed Wheatley. After the initial appearance was a little bit postponed, and rightfully so.
It was, yes. We had, I swear, it feels like the weather. This winter, we haven't had a bad winter, but when we have, it's been the day before a library program or the day of a library program.
This has not been the winter for events.
No, it has not been. It has not been. So Ed Wheatley he has written a book. He's written several books. He's an award-winning author. He's written all of his books focus on sports in St. Louis. And so, he is a fountain of knowledge. So he's going to be coming to the library. We've rescheduled it. He's coming Wednesday, April 3rd at 6:30 p.m. to the mall library downstairs. And so we're calling it St. Louis, the best sports town in America, an evening with Ed Wheatley. And he's going to be taking all of the knowledge that he's gained in being a sports historian. He's also a film producer. He's made several Emmy Award-winning documentaries and he's a best-selling author too, and he's won several awards, a lot of them from the Baseball Hall of Fame, so he knows of what he speaks.
Yes, he does.
So he's going to be coming and talking about why he thinks St. Louis is the contender for the best sports city in America. And so he'll be talking at 6:30 on Wednesday, April 3rd at the Mall Library.
And I'm going to try to get him on before that. Do like a preview? Because that's been on before. And I'm telling you, if you guys haven't gone to one, it is really worth it.
Yeah.
Because he has a lot of information that it's hard to find on the internet. Really.
It is. And he's not going to just be, what I think is going to be interesting is he's not going to talk he will talk about the big major sports, baseball, football, basketball, but he talks about chess. He talks about tennis.
Yes.
And he has a lot of really interesting trivia and knowledge that a lot of people don't know about. We were talking on the phone, and he was telling me some of the things that he might be talking about, and things I had no idea about.
No one realizes, Mary. I think that's the first time I've ever gotten excited for chess in my life.
Yeah.
But chess is actually one of the biggest. St. Louis is one of the biggest hot spots around in the world for chess.
Yeah. Well, the Chess Hall of Fame is
Yeah.
here, which I knew, but there was some of like I said, some of the trivia and minutia of that I had no
the
clue
St.
about.
Louis Browns trivia that Ed has
Yes.
too, which is what I think is really fascinating because talking about sports marketing back in the day with the whole new craze of it now, that was pretty fascinating.
Yes, yeah, and he has written books. He's written the St. Louis Browns, the story of a beloved team. He wrote St. Louis Little Leagues to Major Leagues. He wrote a book about wrestling at the Chase.
So the book of Wrestling at Chase is wonderful.
Yeah.
The documentary he did on PBS is just to die for.
Yeah.
It is just amazing work.
Yeah, and this is free. So you can we just ask you to call and register for that program.
What's the registration number?
It's 1-800-613-3163. Or you can just call the library.
Okay,
We'll transfer you to that, to that extension. But it's 1-800-613-3163.
That was more of a question for me because I always read it and I go, do I read the 800 number or do I give the library?
We prefer the 800 number because because that'll also tell people if like there's a wait list or if anything, it gives them all that information. So
that's a great streamlined process.
Yeah, we're excited about that. So
well, and I think really to have all that stuff, Mary, especially too. With Ed Wheatley coming, we always forget that St. Louis is 10 minutes down the road.
It's not far.
And, we all have some type of connection there in some way, especially sports. Mm-hmm. But, whenever you have someone like that, I'm sure this would be a really well-attended event.
I hope so. And we've got room for plenty of people, so we hope we, fill it up.
That's a good spot that you're down there.
Yeah.
And then the other thing that's coming up is I wanted to talk more about the teen supports projects that you have on your script there. I was looking down.
Yeah.
I normally can read upside down, but my sinuses are kind of. Mary and I are literally on the same page every time we're in the studio.
I know. I told CJ this morning, I was like, I have a headache. I'm going to try and be as cheerful as possible, but
the Teen Crime Stoppers is what I'm meaning, Mary, because what I think's cool. I'm big on critical thinking because I just think no one can do that anymore. If you watch the national news, critical thinking's gone. It's just like it's all headline thoughts, And to have this is to really instill that component in the team and realize it's okay to have a different idea than everybody else in the room.
Exactly, and that's what we think is interesting. And not only is it, it's fun, but it's what you're talking about. There's a point, but behind every program that we have, there's a point. There's an educational or an informational component to it, but you also, especially when you're dealing with teens, you want it to be fun. Yeah. And so there is critical thinking and talking back and forth and that interpersonal communication. Nothing takes place on the phone. Nothing's electronic. This is all teens in a room, hanging out, having a good time, and using their critical thinking skills. But it's true crime, murder mystery type thing where we ask them to put on their detective hat and solve a mystery. And so we give them all the clues, all of the information, and they have to work together to solve whatever the crime is. And they compete against other teams. So there's sort of that competition factor. It's a lot of fun.
How did their sewing project go?
It went really, really well. We had a good turnout, and we're just so grateful to everybody. We had so many people call and say, hey, I would be interested in helping with that, or hey, I know how to sew. Just let me know when it's going to happen.
Well, they took the headline spot on the event article. That was help the teenagers sew, because I love what you're doing with this, because I think and this is just me as the outsider. I'm not an in-depth enthusiast, but you have to connect with that population. Yeah. And you have to connect with the kids, but especially that preteen to teenager level, to really show what institution awaits them at the library, because you don't have to worry about playing 7 Chances of Hell going on your Google research paper, and you can have all these things that are at the library that are so important. Yep. And teach you the proper information that's not,
Yes, that's been vetted and edited, and you can rely on it.
Not Wikipedia. Yeah. I told you the Wikipedia test where I had to take a test and the teacher got all the answers off of Wikipedia. No. And I swear, every one of them that I'll be honest with you, I fibbed a little bit on this quiz, because I've always been the person that if I think something's a little silly, I'm going to do it my way and get it done. Yeah. Well, I got 100% on my test because I utilized Wikipedia at that moment. They utilized Wikipedia a day ago and they failed. It's a true story that happened. I've never had that.
Oh my gosh.
It's just, that's what's important. And to get these programs going in these projects for community, I mean, that's, you can ask for more.
Yeah, and one of the things that we have a teen advisory board. Oh, and I should mention the Crime Stoppers is March 6th at 4. Yeah, I forgot to mention that.
That's my
fault. It's at March 6th at 4 p.m. at the mall. So
March 6th
head out March 6th, 4 p.m. for teens, for Teen Crime Stoppers. But
register ahead of time?
No, you can just show up. Yeah. So we one of the things that we have is a teen advisory board, and it's one of those things where, because we know how important it is to have teens in the library and let them see what we have on offer, but we still want them to have some ownership of the programs and services that we provide to them, because who knows teens better than teens? And so, because it's been a while since I've been a teenager, and things have changed. And so we have this teen advisory board, and it meets on Wednesdays once a month at 4 o'clock. The next one will be March 13th. But we just ask them, what do you want to see? What do you want to do with the library? What kind of programs do you want to have? They're the ones that came up with the sewing project.
That's so cool.
It was really great to let them have some buy-in of what they want to see at the library. So
absolutely. Yeah. And then, Mary, what else is coming down the pipeline?
So one of the things that I wanted to talk about was the unfiltered lens. This is something that we had.
This is doing well.
Yeah, it's something that we had last year at Lewis and Clark. It's a photo exhibit of the photography of Robert J. Ellison, who had photography of the Vietnam War and the Civil Rights era. And it was at Lewis and Clark. The photo exhibit was at Lewis and Clark in partnership with them. And it was such a tremendous success that Jacoby Art Center, we worked with them, and we're bringing it to Jacoby Art Center. And it's going to be, the exhibition actually started on Saturday, on this February 17th. We had an opening for it. And it's going to run through March 27th. And so people can go to Jacoby Art Center. They can see the photography. There's 100 photos that Robert Ellison took. He was a photographer for Newsweek and Time Magazine. Yeah. And he has some incredibly compelling pictures of the war in Vietnam, and also civil rights marches and in the South. And so we're asking everybody, to come out and take a look at the photography, because it's such an important topic, and the photography is incredible.
Well, and the story of Robert J. Ellison, too, is pretty remarkable, just his personal story.
His family was instrumental in founding Western Military Academy. His great-grandfather founded it. And his family members had graduated from there. He himself graduated from there. His father was killed at Luzon in the Philippines during World War II. And Robert himself was 6 months old when his father was killed. And so because of that, he didn't have to serve in the military, but he decided to go onto the front lines as a photographer. Right. And he was actually himself killed in action. He was only 23 when he was killed. The plane that he was on was hit by enemy gunfire in Vietnam in March of '68. So
well, and also on top of all of this, I don't know, maybe I'm a week off, but I know that Rustin was being shown at the Alton movie theater as well. Is that still this week too?
I'm not sure. That was not a library event, but it was.
But it was a way to tie it in.
It was.
That's what I just thought was so cool, because this was a real immersive experience if you did it the right way and went and saw it or whatever, and went to go to the exhibition, because these shots, I seen a few of them at Lewis and Clark last year. They're out of your... And what amazes me is, this is how young I am, I guess. I'm like thinking, okay, I take my phone out, I take a picture. In 1960, you just didn't take a camera out and take a picture.
Exactly, exactly. There was a process to it.
The mind that he had was brilliant to capture those images. I mean, it really was.
Yes, absolutely.
Well, and, I can read upside down sometimes.
Yes, you can.
And I do know that we have to talk about one of the biggest things that you guys have, which is Taps and Tomes, which is, to me, I can't get over the fact that this has just grown to be as big as it is.
It's big. And every time we have it, I think, okay, we're going to have to split up into a couple of groups, because we keep having more people coming. So we're calling it Taps and Tomes, and it takes place every other month at the Old Bakery Beer Company. And so it's a book club. And so we discuss a book, like I said, every other month from 6 to, it's always the first Thursday of the month. And from 6 to 7, we have a sort of a social hour. People get together. Some people have dinner. Some people just show up early and talk with other book club members, usually talk about what they're reading, what books they like, authors. Oh, have you heard about this author? Have you heard about that author? And it's really interesting and fun to see people who didn't know each other to begin with, who have now become friends, and they'll come in and say, oh, I'm going to your such and such. Thanks for inviting me to this or that. So it's a great way to meet people, talk about books. And like I said, from 6 to 7 o'clock, there's a social hour, which is completely optional. You don't have to do that if you don't want to. And then from 7 to 8, we have a discussion about the selection for that month. And it happens every other month. And like I said, this one is in May or in March. And we meet March 7th. I think that's the first Thursday of the month. March 7th at Old Bakery Beer Company. We're reading Lessons in Chemistry. And then we'll meet again in May, and we're reading West with Giraffes. So that'll be our May selection. So,
You know, time and time again, it's really great to know that there's a place for folks to go and meet new people and to converse that's not centered around just going to a bar.
Exactly.
You know, and not being funny about it. But, I mean, I feel like that was needed for a long time. It's just to have those different ways to connect and meet new folks. And you know, especially when there's some new, there's some transplants that are arriving in town, and all that.
It's really interesting you say that, because we do have several people who have just moved here, and I say just moved here, but recently moved here, and it was kind of a nice way for them to meet other people in the area.
It was.
And it does, like I said, it does take place at Old Bakery Beer Company, but you know, obviously come out and have a beer if you want to, but they also serve other things. You don't have, obviously, you don't have to have anything to drink.
My parents do their non-alcoholic selection. They have a pretty good non-alcoholic selection.
They have great tea, herbal tea, like
Is that herbarium?
Something like I love that. But it's just a great event.
Well, and that's what how did Great Gatsby go?
Went well. I did not get to go to that one. I know. I like the book, but I've never seen the movie.
So here's my problem. I love the book so much, but when I watched the movie, I liked the idea of it, but the picture I created in my mind was just not even close.
Yes, I know.
And, you know, I hate to say it, but, you know, if I have to tell Leonardo DiCaprio he's wrong, I will, you know.
That was the thing. I was reading Lessons in Chemistry, and I know for our book club, and I know that there's a TV version on Apple TV, but I intentionally did not look up the cast because I had created this world of these people in my head, and I thought I don't want to be influenced by their casting decisions. So now that I've finished it, I need to go and take a look and see how it matched up. But
do you ever get angry after watching it?
100%.
Okay, because I do too.
100%. Like, why did you cast this person? They're nothing like the character of the book.
Mine was a series of unfortunate events. I thought those were just so. I love the way that Lemony Snicket wrote them, and I thought they were wonderful. And the thing on Netflix is okay,
right?
But it's not the book, and it's just so hard for me to. And I get so mad because I've always wanted a nice movie, but you can't watch the movie if you. It's just a tough battle.
There's one book series that I love. It's the #1 Ladies Detective Agency, and they turned it into a TV show, and I thought, oh boy, they nailed it.
It's
one of the only times I've watched something and gone, all right, you nailed it. You
were waiting to find something, you know, that entire time you're watching.
And it was great. I thought, you should cast everything.
So we have 6 minutes, and I wanted to leave a good chunk to talk about this, because in the world of the growing age of getting the word out and messaging and Facebook and social media and the website and all that, your email sign up is a really great way for folks to be connected and to get information that's truly pertinent to them.
It is. So for years, in fact, as long as I've been at the library, which has been a long time, we've always done a quarterly newsletter. And it comes in the mail to everyone. It's wonderful. And I love that we do it, and we'll always keep doing it because it's a really great way. It goes out to every household in the district, so Alton, Godfrey, and Foster Township. So even if you don't use the library, you still quarterly get something that tells you what's going on in the library. But we've never done anything digitally. And so, I mean, it's 2024. At the time it was 2023. Right. We needed to do something. So we were working with RiverBender and came up with a weekly email that patrons can sign up, and it just pulls up all the events that are going on this coming week. On Monday mornings, you get it in your inbox first thing, and it tells you, don't forget, here's what's happening Monday, because we do something every day of the week.
There's so much going on.
Every day of the week, there's something going on at the library, and whether it's kids programming, a teen programming, or adult programming, or a service that we want to feature and highlight, there's always something happening, and it can get confusing. And we have it on our website, on the events calendar, but there's still a lot going on. So this is a nice, easy way to see, okay, here's the week, and here's what's coming up, here's what time it happens, and here's where it's taking place. Because we have 3 locations too, so sometimes that's difficult to keep straight. So,
well, and now what's the way that folks can sign up for this?
So you can go to HaynerLibrary.org, and all you have to do is just barely scroll down, and right across the entire screen it says sign up for our newsletter, our email newsletter. And so you just put your email address in, and that's it. That's all you have to do.
Perfect. Yeah. Has it grown pretty well? Is it being used?
Yes. Yeah. And
That's
it's
wonderful.
Funny because I'll be somewhere and someone will say, oh, I got that email, or oh, hey, I saw on RiverBender that you're doing such and such, or I heard you, or you went to this, and it's working out really really well.
I'm just happy about it because whenever we met, Mary, you're, like I said, Hayner's one of the big reasons I started the show, because there's so much stuff in there that no one ever talks about because there's so much going on.
So much going on.
Moving.
I know. Well, when I come here, I'm just like, what am I going to talk about? And it's not that I don't have anything to talk about. It's that I have so much to talk about. I've got to pick out okay, what's happening this week, because I'm going to be back next week, and then I want to make sure I talk about that. So, yeah.
Well, and what are we gearing up for? Because now we're in the weird part of the year, because it's turning over into spring, but with spring comes about a month left of school. And then you have summer and
we have summer reading programs starting. So we actually just this morning put in, this is the hot off the press. I'm not going to talk about it yet, but we just are having...
It even says classified up there.
Right, yeah. So we just finished up on Friday, and I this morning emailed our printer and said, do it, print it. So the next newsletter should actually be coming into people's mailboxes mid to late March, and that will cover everything we're doing in April, May, and June, and that includes the summer reading program. So in March, I'll definitely have a ton of new things to talk about, all the different programming. And honestly, our staff has knocked it out of the park for this spring. I mean, things that we've not done before. Summer reading program is unbelievable. We've got some great stuff going on. We've got great new programs coming on. The staff has, like I said, they've been killing it.
Well, you guys have just a great team.
Yeah.
And everyone wants to be there. That's the fun part about it, and that's why I love working with you and talking with you, because everyone there is on the same page. Yep. Let's get this going. And with that being said, is there anything in the next couple of weeks we need to call to action again before I talk to you Monday? Is there anything pressing this week?
Nothing super pressing, just our continuing ongoing story times, things like that. The one thing I would really quickly like to say is, if anybody has a community group or something that falls in our district, Alton, Godfrey, Foster Township, and you need us to come, if you're looking for a speaker, I am happy to come. I've already talked with the Rotary Club. I've talked with 2 or 3 other groups. Just give a presentation on everything that's available, and I can even tailor it to your group. And so we can, because we have something for everybody, so I can tailor it and focus it on what you need. And just a quick overview of what we do at the library.
One follow-up for me while I have you. How did your memory cafe go?
Went well. In fact, we have another one coming up, and it's going to be in our next newsletter.
I know it'll be in that, but I wanted that because
really
that was wonderful.
Yeah, and we're going to be partnering with the Alzheimer's Association for the one coming up in the spring. And so it's a great way for families and caregivers and people who are suffering from dementia and memory loss to get together, meet with one another. Again, it's about building that community because we are a community resource. So
100%. And before I let you go, I got one last thing about this newsletter. You know how I feel about printed mail. I'm not a fan. I don't like mailers. I think those are just great to start fires with. That's fine. But one that I do look forward to is getting the Hayner one. And I don't know who does it, but it's the way it's packaged too. It just looks like it's something that says "Read me." And it makes me feel like an Altonian whenever I get it. And I mean that because when it comes, it's like, oh, this is an acceptable form of mail. Yeah,
well, and it's because, we realize there's people that may not come into the library, and so it's like, how do you reach those people? How do you reach people that don't come in? And so we feel like it's really important because your tax dollars pay for the library. And so we think it's important that once a quarter you hear from us and we can say to you, here's how you can take advantage of the library. You're paying for it. Please come. Please use it. It's here for you. We try to have something for everybody, and that's our one shot once a quarter to send something to you so you can see your tax dollars in action. So,
absolutely. Yeah. Well, Mary, we got through it.
We did. Yes, we did.
Go get some Advil and enjoy the rest of your Monday. I'll see all of you tomorrow. Jam-packed show, and then this week's busy. I'm talking to Craig Hintrick, DC Glenn, Whoop, there it is, all that fun stuff. So hang out this week. On that note, have a great day and try your best to stay out of jail.